Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Bexar County Court at Law number 6 and Bexar County Veteran Treatment Court docket. Today is Thursday, August 19th, 2021. It is approximately 2:15 p.m. The cases we have set on our docket today are cause number 659090, State of Texas versus Luis Avila Garcia, represented by Joseph Statson. Is that correct?
Joanne's client, but I'm covering for her, and we're ready.
For Judge Joanne de Hoyos and Joseph Statson. Have we heard from Mr. Maldonado?
We have not. We've reached out to him. He does not respond to text, calls, or email.
Okay.
No recent contact.
Set for plea today, but apparently Mr. Maldonado has failed to appear at this time. We'll see if he might show up before the proceedings are ended. Cause number 629-590, 633-107, 640-591, 640-592, and 640-590, State of Texas versus Leroy Maldonado. And once again, Joseph, if y'all find him before the day's over and we're finished, we're happy to see him. Okay, State of Texas versus Brandy Salinas, cause 660-762, represented by Mr. Jeffrey Hole. Cause number 635-677, State of Texas versus Van Christopher, represented by Mr. Douglas Kappenmeyer. Cause number 656335, State of Texas versus Richard Aguirre, represented by Mr. Sharif Ghazawi. Cause number 665048, State of Texas versus Jacob Santos, represented by Ms. Lisa Voigt. Cause number 656286, State of Texas versus Samuel Castro, represented by Mr. Ross Brendel. Cause number 665598, State of Texas versus Jose Fernandez, represented by Mr. Ross Brendel. We have two Bexar County Veterans Treatment Court, a track 2 plea, cause number 650310, State of Texas versus Dustin Wiggins, represented by Ms. Ashley Morgan. And cause 661327, State of Texas versus Francisco Salinas, a track 1 pretrial diversion plea and probation agreement, and represented by Mr. George Sharman. We have no MTRs today. Is that correct, Pat? And
that's right, Your Honor.
Okay. We have two scheduled Veterans Treatment Court termination hearings, 631736, State of Texas versus Patricia Blackwell, and 637217, State of Texas versus Trevon Pradia, both represented by Judge Joanne de Hoyos and Mr. Joseph Statson. Representing the state as Assistant Criminal District Attorneys is Megan Galloway, Mr. Guillermo Flores on all cases. The first batch of pleas we're going to do are going to include cause number 660762, State of Texas versus Brandy Salinas, represented by Jeffrey Hole. Cause 635677, State of Texas versus Van C. Christopher, represented by Douglas Kappenmeyer. Cause number 656335, State of Texas versus Richard Aguirre, represented by Mr. Sharif Ghazawi. Cause number 665048, State of Texas versus Jacob B. Santos, represented by Ms. Lisa Voigt. Cause number 656286, State of Texas versus Samuel A. Castro Jr., represented by Mr. Ross Brendel. And cause number 665598, State of Texas versus Jose Antonio Fernandez, represented once again by Mr. Ross Brendel. The first document I need each of you to identify your signatures on is entitled A Defendant's Consent to Plea by Video Conference that purports to have both the defendant and his attorney's signature on it. In cause number 660762, Ms. Salinas, is this your signature on this document, ma'am?
I don't see it, sir.
Well, did you sign a document that says defendant's consent to plea by video conference?
Yes.
All right, that's all I need to know. Thank you. And Mr. Hole, is this your signature on this document as attorney for Ms. Salinas?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Cause number 635677, Mr. Christopher, is this your signature on this document?
Yes.
Thank you. And Mr. Kappenmeyer, as attorney for Mr. Christopher, is this your signature on this document?
Mr. Kappenmeyer says yes.
Thank you. And cause number 656335, Mr. Aguirre, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And Mr. Ghazawi, as attorney for Mr. Aguirre, is this also your signature on this document?
It is, Judge.
Thank you. And cause 665048, Mr. Santos, is this your signature on this document?
Your Honor, my client's having trouble getting on to Zoom.
Okay, let's just put you off and we'll catch up to you on the next
Okay.
batch. Okay, thank you, Lisa. And cause number 656286, Mr. Castro, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Brendel, as attorney for Mr. Castro, is this your signature on this document also?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And cause 665-598, Mr. Fernandez, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Brendel, as attorney for Mr. Fernandez, is this also your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. The next document I have is entitled Defendant's Waiver of Constitutional Rights and Court's Admonitions that purports to have your signatures on the back, effectively waiving certain constitutional rights you must waive in order to enter a plea before this court. In fact, Ms. Salinas, is this your signature on this document, ma'am?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Thank you. And Mr. Christopher, is this your signature on this document, sir?
This is Jeff Hull, Your Honor, and yes.
Thank you. And Mr. Aguirre, is this your signature on this document, sir?
It is, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you. And Mr. Castro, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And Mr. Fernandez, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
By signing this document, are each of you telling me that you've had enough time to either read this document or have it read to you in its entirety? If you had any questions about what was on this document, those questions were answered to your satisfaction by your attorneys. So that in signing this document, you're telling me that you agree with and understand everything on this document. Is that correct, Ms. Salinas?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Is that correct, Mr. Christopher?
Judge, this is Jeff Hull for Ms. Salinas. Is it showing?
No, it's Mr.
And Christopher with us today?
Your Honor, this is the one that is supposedly on the speakerphone, and Mr. Kapmeyer has to tell us whether he's saying yes.
Oh, okay. So are you still in contact with him right now, Jeff?
Judge, I'm on.
Douglas, it'd be Douglas Kapmeyer that needs to answer for his client, Your Honor.
Oh, Mr. Kapmeyer, are you still in contact with Mr. Christopher?
I'm so sorry for that last question. I had you on mute, Your Honor. I had muted myself. I'm sorry, but yes, he's been answering affirmatively. Is that you signed all the documents the judge has, Mr. Christian? Yes, sir.
All right, perfect. And Mr. Aguirre, is this, let's see, is this your signature? Where are we at? Stand by. Is that correct, Mr. Aguirre?
Yes, sir.
And is that correct, Mr. Castro?
Yes, sir.
And is that correct, Mr. Fernandez?
Yes, Your Honor.
As attorney for Ms. Salinas, Mr. Hull, have you had enough time to go over this case with her? And in your opinion, is she mentally competent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Same question for attorney for Mr. Christopher, Mr. Kappermeyer.
Yes, sir.
Same question for attorney for Mr. Aguirre, Mr. Gadawi.
Yes, sir.
Same question for attorney for Mr. Castro, Mr. Brendel.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Same question for attorney for Mr. Fernandez, Mr. Brendel.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Salinas, are you a United States citizen?
Yes, sir.
And let me back up. Mr. Hull, have you had enough time to go over this case with Ms. Salinas? And in your opinion, is she mentally competent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Same question for Mr. Kapmeyer, as attorney for Mr. Christopher.
Yes, sir.
Same question for Mr. Ghazawi, as attorney for Mr. Aguirre.
Yes, Your Honor.
Same question for Mr. Brendel, as attorney for Mr. Castro.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Brendel, as attorney for Mr. Fernandez.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, we'll try again. Ms. Salinas, are you a United States citizen, ma'am?
Yes, I'm a U.S. citizen.
Thank you. Same question, Mr. Christopher, are you a United States citizen, sir?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Aguirre, same question.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Castro, same question.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Fernandez, same question.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Hull, attorney for Ms. Salinas, has the state fully complied with discovery for you on this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Same question for Mr. Kappermeyer, as attorney for Mr. Christopher.
I believe so, Your Honor.
Same question for Mr. Ghazawi, as attorney for Mr. Aguirre.
Yes, Judge.
Same question for Mr. Brendel, as attorney for Mr. Castro.
Yes, Your Honor.
Same question for Mr. Brendel, as attorney for Mr. Fernandez.
Yes, Your Honor.
We got an interpreter standing by. Did I miss that? Pat? Is Pat with us?
That would be for Luis Avila Garcia's plea.
Right. Do we have an interpreter today? Apparently we do. Okay. We'll do that next. Okay, let's see what we got cooking here on Miss Salinas' case. Miss Salinas.
Your Honor,
Yeah,
Your Honor, Judge,
I'm listening.
you need to allow the interpretation
We're gonna do the Spanish case next.
because we cannot hear you, Your Honor.
We're gonna do the Spanish case next.
Okay.
Yes.
Law office.
I can hear you. Can Mr. Avila Garcia hear you?
Sí.
All right, we're gonna take up Mr. Avila Garcia when we finish this set of pleas.
Let me get.
All right, in cause number 660762, Ms. Salinas to the charge of assault bodily injury, how do you plead, ma'am?
No content.
Is there an agreement for Ms. Salinas?
Yes.
There is, Your Honor, a $450 fine. Half of that fine is to be probated. Court cost, 14 months deferred adjudication, 48 hours community service, and donations are acceptable in this case. The APSE course, and no contact with Diana Rivas.
All right, let me back up. It's 450 plus court costs and some of that's probated, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor, half of the $450 fine is going to be probated.
So probate 225, that sound right?
Yes, Your Honor.
And how many hours community service, 48 or 40?
48, Your Honor.
Got it. Okay, so the only variation from your script that you sent me was the fact that some of the fine is probated, is that correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
All good. Defense, is that your understanding of the agreement?
Yes, Judge. And originally, when we filled out the paperwork, it was a probation, and I believe probation was checked. So we just wanted to make sure it was on the record that this was going to be a deferred.
That's my understanding.
Okay.
And Your Honor, I have already called the court and they are aware of it and they will change it.
Okay, in clause 660762, State of Texas versus Randy and Salinas. Court accepts Ms. Salinas' plea of no contest to the offense of assault bodily injury. Although I have enough evidence to find her guilty, I'm going to withhold the finding of guilt, place her on 14 months deferred adjudication probation. He says a $450 fine, probating $225 of that plus court costs, 48 hours of community service, APSE, stress management course, and order no contact with Diana Rivas. Anything further from the state of the defense on Ms. Salinas?
Judge, we would just request that she be allowed to donate in lieu of community service if the court would allow that.
The court has a set of, I don't even know how many we have, 5 or 6 different court charities that she can donate $10 an hour. I know one is Family Violence Prevention Services, one is Special Operations Wounded Warriors, that sort of thing. And she's welcome to do that, and Pat can send you a list of those, okay?
Your Honor, may I also, when you're finished, I'll go through the probation talk we have to have.
Okay, and we're gonna recall all pretrial service conditions that we put on anybody throughout all these pleas, and that will be on my final rendition of the plea. And Pat, go ahead and do your probation brief, if you would.
Okay, for anybody that is getting probation or deferred adjudication, you will be contacted by probation within 48 hours, whether it is through by phone or by email. If you do not get contacted within those 48 hours, and I would say by Tuesday morning, if you have not heard from them, you need to call them. I am going to give you a phone number. So get pen and paper. I would suggest attorneys as well. And I'm going to give you the phone number you need to call. This is intake, and that's who you need to talk to. The phone number is 210-335-7446. So again, be sure if you have not heard from them within 48 hours, again, by Tuesday morning, call them and tell them you were placed on probation. Thank you, Judge.
Anything further from the state or the defense on Ms. Salinas?
And
Nothing
Judge, I'm
further.
sorry, I think
Go
my
ahead.
audio may have cut out. Did you say that the half of the fine was probated?
Correct. $225 or the $450 is probated.
Nothing further from defense, Judge.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Salinas. Good luck. And Mr. Holt, you're dismissed. Appreciate your help.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay.
Thank
Cause
you.
number 635-677, State of Texas versus Van C. Christopher to the charge of criminal mischief, $100 to $750. How do you plead, sir?
No contest.
Is there an agreement for Mr. Christopher?
Yes, Your Honor. $300 fine, court costs, 12 months deferred adjudication, 48 hours of community service, anger management course, pay restitution, if any, to Lisa Alvarez, no contact with Lisa Alvarez, her residence and her property, including social media as well, and no contact with Abel Baron, his residence and his property.
Okay, defense, is that your understanding of the agreement?
It is, Your Honor.
Let's do a little writing here. And is it restitution, if any, to Mr. Abel Baran or only to Miss Lisa Alvarez?
Only to Ms. Alvarez, Judge.
Only Miss Alvarez, okay. Mr. Christopher, in clause 635-677, the court accepts your plea of no contest, the offense of criminal mischief, $100 to $750. Although I have enough evidence to find you guilty, I'm going to withhold the finding of guilt. Place you on 1 year deferred adjudication probation. It says a $300 fine plus court costs, 48 hours community service, APSE stress management court. Or do you have no contact with and pay restitution, if any, to Lisa Alvarez and have no contact with her residence or property? Also have no contact with Mr. Abel Barone or his residence and property. State, did I miss anything?
No, Your Honor.
Defense, did I miss anything?
I don't believe so.
All right, we're good. Thank you, Mr. Christopher. Good luck to you. Thank you, Mr. Kappermeyer.
Capmeyer, yes, sir. Thank you. Capmeyer House.
They got me. Yeah, you misspelled your name on it. We'll fix it next time. Okay, Mr. Aguirre in class 656-335. See what we're doing here. State, you got a motion on this case, apparently.
Yes, Your Honor. State moves to waive and abandon the enhancement paragraph and proceed with the Class B DWI.
No objection from the defense. That will be granted. Therefore, Mr. Aguirre in clause 656-335 to the charge of driving while intoxicated, first offense. How do you plead, sir?
No contest.
Is there an agreement for Mr. Aguirre?
Yes, Your Honor. $850 fine, court costs, 16 months deferred adjudication, 48 hours of community service, DWI education, victim impact panel, CAT SNP, Smart Star mobile device for half the term, regular UAs, and pay restitution to DPS in the amount of $60, and that is for the lab.
And defense, is that your understanding of the agreement?
It is, Your Honor.
Mr. Aguirre in clause 656-335, the court accepts your plea of no contest, the offense of driving while intoxicated, first offense. Although I have enough evidence to find you guilty, I'm going to withhold the finding of guilt. Place you on 16 months deferred adjudication probation. It says an $850 fine plus court costs, 48 hours community service, DWI education course, DWI victim impact panel, Community Alliance for Traffic Safety New Intervention Program, Smart Start mobile home interlock at 4 blows a day for 8 months, regular urinalysis tests, and pay a reimbursement of $60 to the Texas Department of Public Safety. Anything further from the state or the defense on Mr. Aguirre?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
Good luck, Mr. Aguirre. Thank you, Mr. Gazawi.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
And Mr. Castro in clause 656-286. Let's see where's that going here. To the charge of driving while intoxicated, first offense. How do you plead, sir?
No contest.
Is there an agreement for Mr. Castro?
Yes.
There is, Your Honor. 14 months deferred adjudication, $500 fine, court cost, 48 hours community service, DWI education, victim impact panel, cat snip, and Smart Start Mobile for half the term.
And defense, go ahead.
We had talked about the court about making a donation to a charity in lieu of the community service due to Mr. Castro's work schedule.
Mr. Castro and every other defendant in County Court 6 or the Veterans Treatment Court that needs to do community service is welcome to donate $10 an hour to court designated charities, which are primarily family violence prevention services and special operations wounded warrior organizations, stuff like that. Pat can get you all this. That's not a problem.
When they go to probation, their officer will give them a list as well.
Okay. So, Mr. Castro, in clause 656-286, the court accepts your plea of no contest to the offense of driving while intoxicated, first offense. Although I have enough evidence to find you guilty, I'm going to withhold the finding of guilt. Place you on 14 months deferred adjudication probation. Accept a $500 fine plus court costs, 48 hours community service, DWI education, DWI victim impact panel, Community Alliance for Traffic Safety New Intervention Program, and a Smart Start mobile home device for half the term, which is 7 months at 4 blows a day. Anything further from the state of the defense on Mr. Castro?
No, Your Honor.
Nothing
Good luck.
from the state.
Good luck, Mr. Castro. Thank you, Mr. Brendel. Y'all are dismissed. And in clause 665598, Mr. Fernandez. Oh, State, you got another motion on this one. Go ahead, State.
Yes, Your Honor, the state moves to waive the enhancement contained in paragraph B and proceed on a Class B DWI.
No objection from the defense. That will
No objection.
Therefore, Mr. Fernandez, in clause number 665598 to the charge of driving while intoxicated, first offense. How do you plead, sir?
No contest, Your Honor.
Is there an agreement for Mr. Fernandez?
There is, Your Honor, a $650 fine, court cost, 6 months Bear County Jail, probated over 14 months, DWI intervention, the victim impact panel, cat snip, Smart Start mobile for half the term, 48 hours community service, and regular UAs.
I agree with
And
the
it was-
probation.
Hang on just a second. And it's $1,000 plus court costs. Is that correct? That was the fine?
It was $650, Your Honor.
I'm looking at the wrong one. Stand by. 650. Mr. Fernandez was about to hit me. Okay, defense, is that your understanding of the agreement?
Yes, Your Honor. In probation for 14 months.
6 months probated for 14 months. That's correct. Okay, Mr. Fernandez, in clause 665598, the court accepts your plea of no contest to the offense of driving while intoxicated, first offense. I find you guilty. I said 6 months in the Bear County Jail, probated for 14 months, a $650 fine plus court cost, DWI intervention, DWI victim impact panel, Community Alliance for Traffic Safety New Intervention Program, Smart Start mobile home interlock for 7 months, which is half the term at 4 blows a day, and regular urinalysis tests. What did I miss, State?
You got it all, Judge.
Recall all pretrial service bond conditions. And that's all I got. Did I miss anything, Mr. Brendel?
No, and that's 14 months, just to clarify, defendant.
That's correct.
That's
6
a
months over.
probation and not jail. And as long as he completes his probation.
He's on probation for 14 months with an underlying of 6 month sentence, okay? All right. Good luck, Mr. Fernandez. Thank you, Mr. Brindell. Y'all are dismissed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. And Ms. Voigt, did you and Mr. Santos get your comms figured out?
He should be on, Your Honor.
Let's go ahead and do our Spanish, Mr. Avila Garcia case, and we're going to come to you, Lisa, on the two VTC cases. This is cause number 659090, State of Texas versus Luis G. Avila Garcia, represented by Judge Joanne De Hoyos and Mr. Joseph Stateson. Mr. Avila Garcia and Mr. Stateson, I'm looking at a document entitled Defendant's Consent to Plea by Video Conference, which purports to have your signature on it. This document is in English, so I'm assuming, Mr. Stateson, you translated this document for Mr. Avila Garcia before he signed it. Is that accurate?
I believe Joanne had, yes.
Okay. Mr. Avila Garcia, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Sí.
Thank you. And Mr. Stateson, can you identify Judge Joanne De Hoyo's signature on this document as the initial attorney for Mr. Avila Garcia?
Yes, that is her signature.
Thank you. Mr. Avila Garcia, the next document I have, one is in English and one is in Spanish. It is entitled Defendant's Waiver of Constitutional Rights and Court's Admonitions, that purports to have your signature on the back, effectively waiving certain constitutional rights you must waive in order to enter a plea before this court. In fact, Mr. Avila Garcia, is this your signature on the back of each of these documents, one in English and one in Spanish?
Sí.
Thank you. By signing these documents, are you telling me that you had enough time to either read these documents or have them read to you in their entirety? If you had any questions about what was on these documents, those questions were answered to your satisfaction by your attorneys, so that in signing these documents, you're telling me that you agree with and understand everything on these documents. Is that correct, sir?
Sí.
Thank you. Mr. Stateson, as attorney for Mr. Avila Garcia, have you had enough time to go over this case with him? And in your opinion, is he mentally competent?
I have, Your Honor, and I believe he is.
Mr. Avila Garcia, are you a United States citizen, sir?
No.
Mr. Avila Garcia, if you are not a citizen of the United States of America, a plea of guilty or nolo contendere for the offense charged may result in your deportation, your exclusion from admission to this country, or the denial of naturalization under federal law. Mr. Avila Garcia, have you discussed with your attorney and been made aware of the mentioned consequences, and are you still now knowingly wanting to enter a plea to this offense?
Sí.
And Mr. Stateson, have both you and Judge De Hoyos had the ability to discuss with Mr. Avila Garcia the problems he may encounter with regard to his immigration status if he enters a plea to this crime?
Yes, we have, Your Honor. We had sent him immigration explanation in an email. He had time to review it. I spoke with him. I explained that this was not a crime of moral turpitude for further immigration consequences for naturalization later for him to consult with the immigration attorney, but that this was not a crime of moral turpitude itself, and he understood and he wishes to go forward.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's see what we got going on this one. And Mr. Avila Garcia, to the charge of reckless driving, how do you plead, sir?
No me opongo.
And is there an agreement for Mr. Avila Garcia, please?
There is, Your Honor, $100 fine, court cost, 1 day Bexar County Jail, credit for time served, time and money to run concurrent. And if it pleases the court, we ask that this judgment be satisfied.
And Mr. Stateson, is that your understanding of the agreement?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
Is the basis of this reckless driving speed or some other issue?
My understanding, it was speed.
Okay.
There was no crash.
Okay, all good. Mr. Avila Garcia, the court accepts your plea of no contest to the offense of reckless driving. I find you guilty. I assess 1 day in the Bear County Jail, $100 fine plus court costs. Credit for time served, time and money to run concurrent, judgment satisfied, and you have to slow down, sir.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Anything further from the state or the defense on Mr. Avila Garcia?
Nothing from defense.
Good luck, Mr. Avila Garcia. Thank you, Mr. Stateson and Judge Joanne.
Thank you, Judge. May we
And
be
thank you to the
excused?
interpreter. Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Okay, Ms. Voigt, you ready on Mr. Santos? Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Sharman, you ready on Mr. Salinas? Mr. Sharman, can you hear me?
Here we go. I'm sorry.
Are you, that's okay. You're all ready to go?
We are.
All right. And we got Ashley or Ms. Carter. Who we got today from Ashley's office?
Here,
We
Judge.
got Ashley. Are you ready to go forward on Mr. Wiggins?
I'm ready, Judge.
All right. We've got cause number 665048, State of Texas versus Jacob B. Santos. We've got a Bear County Veteran Treatment Court Track 2 plea and probation agreement. Cause number 650310, State of Texas versus Dustin Wiggins, represented by Miss Ashley Morgan. And we've got a Bear County Veteran Treatment Court Track 1 pretrial diversion and probation agreement. State of Texas versus Francisco Salinas, represented by Mr. George Sharman. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm looking at a document at this time entitled Defendant's Consent to Plea by Video Conference that purports to have each of your signatures on it. Mr. Santos, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes.
Thank you. And Ms. Voigt, as attorney for Mr. Santos, is this your signature on this document?
It is, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Wiggins, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Ms. Morgan, as attorney for Mr. Wiggins, is this your signature on this document?
It is, Judge.
Thank you. Mr. Salinas, is this your signature on this document, sir?
He's muted, Judge.
I'm having a hard time hearing. Is that correct, Mr. Salinas? I'm looking for Mr. Salinas. Oh, there he is. Your microphone's still off, sir.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yes, sir, Your Honor, that is.
Thank you very much. And Mr. Sharman, as attorney for Mr. Salinas, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. The next document I have is entitled Defendant's Waiver of Constitutional Rights and Court's Admonitions that purports to have your signature on the back, effectively waiving certain constitutional rights you must waive in order to enter a plea before this court. In fact, Mr. Santos, is this your signature on this document in clause 665048?
Yes.
And Mr. Wiggins, is this your signature on this document in clause 650310?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And Mr. Salinas, in clause 661327, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. By signing these documents, are each of you telling me that you've had enough time to either read these documents or have them read to you in their entirety? You had any questions about what was on these documents? Those questions were answered to your satisfaction by your attorneys. So that in signing these documents, you're telling me that you agree with and understand everything on this document. Is that correct, Mr. Santos?
Yes.
Is that correct, Mr. Wiggins?
Yes, sir.
And is that correct, Mr. Salinas?
Yes, sir.
As attorney for Mr. Santos, Ms. Voigt, have you had enough time to go over this case with him? And in your opinion, is he mentally competent?
He is, Your Honor.
Thank you. Same question for Ms. Morgan as attorney for Mr. Wiggins.
Yes, Judge.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Sharman as attorney for Mr. Salinas.
Yes, Judge.
Mr. Santos, are you a United States citizen?
Yes.
Same question for Mr. Wiggins.
Yes, sir.
Same question for Mr. Salinas.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Voigt, as attorney for Mr. Santos, has the state fully complied with discovery for you on this case?
Yes, they have.
Same question for Ms. Morgan as attorney for Mr. Wiggins.
They have, Judge.
Same question for Mr. Sharman as attorney for Mr. Salinas.
Yes, Your Honor.
Let's see, Mr. Santos in clause 665048. Let me find you on my cheat sheet here. To the charge of unlawfully carrying a weapon. How do you plead, sir?
No contest.
Is there an agreement for Mr. Santos?
There is, Your Honor. $450 fine, court cost, 1 year deferred adjudication, 50 hours of community service, forfeiture of the weapon to the DA's office, and a gang evaluation.
And what kind of weapon is this? Anybody know? I know it's a pistol of some kind.
Your Honor, I'm asking that the weapon be forfeited to me if possible.
Okay, anybody know what kind of weapon this is, like what manufacturer it is?
I
It was a
forget.
it was a Sig Sawyer 9mm.
It was a what, 9mm?
A Sig
Sig
Sawyer?
Sauer? Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
That's a very expensive handgun. Hang on, a little writing to do. Okay, and Ms. Boyd, is that your understanding of the agreement?
It is, Your Honor.
Mr. Santos, in cause 665-048, court accepts your plea of no contest, defense of unlawfully carrying a handgun. Although I have enough evidence to find you guilty, I'm going to withhold a finding of guilt. Place you on 1 year deferred adjudication probation, assess a $450 fine plus court cost, 50 hours community service. Motion to forfeit the weapon to district attorney's office is respectfully denied. Weapon awarded to defense counsel's additional attorney's fees with the understanding it's not to be returned to the defendant, his family, or his friends, and a gang evaluation. Anything further from the state of the defense on Mr. Santos?
Just one other question, Your Honor. I don't know if you do this or not, but some of the courts are giving credits towards community service if the defendant gets COVID vaccinated.
We don't do that, but we would like to congratulate him if he did. That's a good idea.
Okay.
Anything further from the state of the defense on Mr. Santos?
Nothing
No, Your
from the
Honor.
state.
Good luck, Mr. Santos. Thank you, Ms. Voigt. Y'all are excused.
Thank you.
And in Mr. Wiggins' case, 650310, the Bear County Veterans Treatment Court, Track 2, probation. Mr. Wiggins, to the charge of driving while intoxicated, first offense, or do we do? Yep. No. State, you got a motion apparently, correct? I see DWI greater than 1.5 is the original offense. That sound right?
It was.
Are you reducing it to DWI first for purposes of this probation, or does it stay at DWI greater than 1.5?
It's gonna stay at 0.15, Your Honor.
All right.
That's
no problem.
actually incorrect because it's going to be a deferred adjudication and you can't do a deferred on a 0.15 or higher.
That's exactly correct. So state, are you gonna waive the greater than 1.5 enhancement?
We will, Your Honor. The state moves to
What a
waive
nice state. Thank you for your assistance.
the 0.15 enhancement and proceed on the Class B misdemeanor DWI.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. In cause 650310, state having waived the greater than 0.15 enhancement. No objection from the defense. Mr. Wiggins, to the charge of driving while intoxicated, first offense. How do you plead, sir?
I plead guilty, Your Honor.
Is there an agreement for Mr. Wiggins?
There is, Your Honor, 12 months deferred adjudication, $1,000 fine, 48 hours community service probated, DWI education, Smart Start Mobile for half the term, restitution, if any, to Samuel Villarreal, restitution, if any, to Kevin Nunez, and Veterans Treatment Court completion.
Okay, hang on, I got a lot of writing to do here. Let's see. And Ms. Morgan, is that your understanding of the agreement?
It is, Judge.
Okay, Mr. Wiggins, in cause 650310, the court accepts your plea of guilty to the offense of driving while intoxicated, first offense. Although I have enough evidence to find you guilty, I'm going to withhold a finding of guilt. Place you on 1 year deferred adjudication probation, assess a $1,000 all-inclusive Veterans Treatment Court fee, 48 hours community service, probating all that based on your military service, DWI education, DWI victim impact panel, Community, well, we don't do that. Outpatient drug with either the Veterans Administration or a designated VTC provider. Requiring successful completion of the Veterans Treatment Court restitution, if any, to Samuel Villarreal and Kevin Nunez. I think that's what I got. Ashley, what I miss?
I think you got it all, Judge. Did you probate his community service hours?
Yeah, sure did.
Thank you.
State, did I miss anything? Is Ron on with us? He's the one that always catches this stuff. Ron, quit golfing. Come on board.
I believe you got it all, Judge.
I see.
I'm here.
There he is. What did I miss?
No, you got everything.
All right, good for me. What'd you do in the military, Mr. Wiggins?
A military intelligence officer, sir.
And did you go to the war somewhere in there?
I did active duty and infantry units, Ranger, Airborne Air Assault, and Mountain Warfare. I got out before OEF, OIF.
Well, don't worry about it. When I left Afghanistan, we were winning, but now we're giving it away. So you don't have to worry about that anymore. Thanks for your help, sir.
I did go back as a contractor, but thank you for today, sir.
All good. Okay. Anything further from the state of the defense on Mr. Wiggins?
No, sir.
Good luck, Mr. Wiggins. Thank you, Ms. Morgan. In cause number 661327, State of Texas versus Francisco Salinas. This is a Bexar County Veterans Treatment Court Track 1 pretrial diversion, plea and probation agreements. And Mr. Salinas to the charge of, is this an original DWI or is this reduction? Probably original. Okay, state, this is a DWI greater than 0.15.
You're basically,
I assume it stays that, he pleads to that, we're gonna hold it in abeyance, is that all correct? George, is that your understanding?
My understanding, it's going to be taken off the docket. He's going into the VTC on a pre-trial.
Well, he's gonna get VTC track 1 pretrial diversion, but I'm just trying to determine what he's pleading to. The initial or the actual initial offense was DWI greater than 1.5, but on your paperwork it says DWI. So my question is the state waiving the greater than 1.5? It's all being held in abeyance anyway.
Yeah, it's my understanding that they were, but Judge, I think it's a pretrial diversion anyway.
Yeah, state doesn't matter to me. What do you want to do?
well, Judge, I don't know what Mr. Sharman negotiated with the private prosecutor. I don't see any language regarding waiving the enhancement, but at the same time, the offer says guilty to DWI. So if Mr. Sharman wants to let us know what he negotiated or what, if he received the offer from the state.
Normally on the on track 1 pretrial diversion cases, we don't waive anything, and we're holding it in abeyance anyway. It gives a higher punishment arena if that becomes necessary, which it almost never does. But in this case, it doesn't matter to me. I don't know what y'all agree to, whether it's a straight DWI or greater than 1.5, whatever y'all want to agree to. George, you want to chat with Mr. Flores a minute about that?
I mean, if they're saying no to that, then I understand it. There's nothing indicating that, I mean, they filled out the papers. It was my understanding it was going to be just a class B, but, you know, doesn't matter.
Guillermo, it's over to you. What do you want to do?
Well, Judge, I mean, I can ask the private prosecutor, Your Honor, but I don't want to have everybody waiting for us. I guess we can waive it, Your Honor.
Okay, state's motion to waive the greater than 1.5 enhancement in clause 661327. No objection from the defense is granted. Mr. Salinas in clause 661327 to the charge of driving while intoxicated. First offense. How do you plead, sir?
I was told my attorney was going to answer that for me, sir.
All right.
Yeah, he's pleading guilty, Judge.
Guilty, Your Honor.
Guilty. Got it. The DWI first.
Right.
Okay. Let me do a little, this takes a lot of writing on these track 1. Stand by. Mr. Salinas, in cause 661327, the court accepts your plea of guilty to the offense of driving while intoxicated, first offense. I'm holding your plea of guilty in abeyance, placing you on 1 year Bear County Veterans Treatment Court Track 1 pretrial diversion probation, assessing a $1,000 all-inclusive Veterans Treatment Court fee, 48 hours of community service, probating all that based on your military service, DWI education program, DWI victim impact panel, 6 months Smart Start mobile home interlock at 4 blows a day, outpatient drug treatment with either the Veterans Administration or a designated VTC provider. And I didn't look, state no restitution in this case, hopefully.
That is correct, Your Honor. I only see actually, no, Judge, there's no restitution.
Oh, great. Requiring successful completion of the Veterans Treatment Court, issue judge's bond, defendant be supervised by CSCD and VTC staff. At this time, and I neglected to do this last time, but we'll do it this time. I'm looking at a document entitled Track 1 Pretrial Intervention, which is a contract by and between you and your attorney and the Bear County Criminal District Attorney's Office. Said contract setting out all the requirements and prerequisites of your successful completion of the Veterans Treatment Court. Is this your signature on this document, Mr. Salinas?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Sharman, is this your signature on this document as attorney for Mr. Salinas?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Flores, is this your signature on this document as Assistant Criminal District Attorney?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, we got you now, Mr. Salinas. We got you under contract. All right, I think I got it all. State, what did I miss?
Nothing, Judge.
Defense, what did I miss?
Nothing further.
Okay, Mr. Salinas, what did you do in the military, sir?
I was an infantry rifleman, Your Honor.
Who are you with?
The Marine Corps, 2nd Battalion, 3rd Marines.
Did you go to the sandbox?
Yes, I did.
Where'd you go? Iraq and Afghanistan? That's what they do with most Marines.
Afghanistan, just Afghanistan. I got out before my unit went to Iraq right after Afghanistan.
What do you think about this situation going on and trying to evacuate Afghanistan currently?
I think it's bad, Your Honor. It's crazy.
What year were you there in Afghanistan?
05 to 06.
When all the Taliban came back. When I was there in 03, we ran them all out.
Yeah, there's still a few out there.
All right. Thank you, sir. Thanks for your service. George, I think that's all I got for you.
Your Honor.
All right. When does he report to VTC, Judge? How does that work?
Ron's going to call him. Ron, you want to come on and tell us how that works?
Yes, sir. I'll call him, Judge. I'll give them both Mr. Salinas and Mr. Wiggins a call.
Ron, Judge,
Yes.
can they want to listen to our next hearings on removal from VTC? They might want to hang on.
I think Wiggins left.
Can I jump in real quick?
Sure,
So
sure.
we were supposed to have orientation on a different date, but since I just got rescheduled, we may end up doing it on Tuesday after all. So Mr. Salinas, myself or Officer Bonenbless will be in contact with you. But Mr. Mora will probably call you and give you a little more information with other stuff.
Who is it?
Mr. Mora,
No, who is she? Who are you? I'm sorry.
Officer Cerna?
Oh, what about pre-trial or do I still gotta check in with my pre-trial officer?
No, you're on probation.
No, but Mr. Mora will call you and talk to you about that.
Okay, I understand. Thank you.
Okay. Anything further, get back to Mr. Sharman and he'll get back to me. Thank you, Mr. Salinas. Y'all are excused.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, now, my understanding is we've got state's notice of termination of pretrial intervention, cause number 637217, State of Texas versus Trayvon Devontae Pradia, and cause number 621736, State of Texas versus Patricia L. Blackwell. Let's take up Ms. Blackwell's first, and Ms. Blackwell.
Your Honor,
Yeah.
Ms. Blackwell was on, but she is no longer on. She's not on anymore. I don't know.
Okay, we'll take up Mr. Pradia
A
first.
minute
Let's
ago.
hope she comes back.
Val, can
Yeah.
you check on her?
Joanne, do you have a number on her? You can have somebody try to call her perhaps?
You want me to
I
call
still
her?
have it on my phone. Hold on. She called me, but
I've all spoken to her about 6 times a piece over the last.
know.
It's hard. Okay, hold on. I've got her phone number right here.
yes, and Your Honor, she hasn't signed the consent to the video conference.
Okay, well, first you got to find her and then we'll.
I know, she was on. I know she was on. I saw her, she was on.
All right, well, please ask Joanne or one of her people to try to call her and we'll go from there. Let's go to Mr. Pradia's
I'm
case.
calling right now, Judge.
Thank you. Cause 637-217, State of Texas versus Trevon Pradia. This is a state's notice of termination of pretrial intervention. And what that means, Mr. Pradia, is as of right now, I have not made a decision whether to continue you on in the Veterans Treatment Court or whether to grant the state's motion to terminate your pretrial intervention. I have various options. I'm sure your attorney, Judge De Hoyos, has already discussed with you. I can, if I determine to terminate your pretrial intervention, we just process your original plea, which was held in abeyance. I can put you on regular probation. I can put you in jail. I can put you in rehab. I can do all sorts of wonderful things. But I will be happy to hear your side of the story when it comes to that point in this time. Right now, Mr. Pradia, I'm looking at a document entitled Defendant's Consent to Hearing by Video Conference that purports to have both your signature and Judge De Hoyos' signature on it. Is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Judge De Hoyos, as attorney for Mr. Pradia, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
My copy of this document is not dated, so just make sure administratively it gets dated. Maybe the original somewhere is dated. I don't know, but that would be the 19th of August 2021. Let's see. Val, are you the probation officer on Mr. Pradia?
Yes, Judge.
At this time, would you please give us all sort of a summation of the goods and bads of Mr. Pradia's probation with the Bexar County Veterans Treatment Court?
Okay, so at the beginning, he kind of struggled.
Hang on, Val, let me swear you in. I apologize. Would you raise your right hand? Do you swear the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
Please proceed. State your witness.
Okay, so at the very beginning, Mr. Pradia came in and he kind of struggled. He was already coming in positive for marijuana. He smoked after he had already signed his VTC contract, and he thought that he wasn't going to be able to, he didn't have to basically comply until he had his orientation with probation. We did have some difficulties with kind of his attitude at the beginning, but he did.
Yeah, if you can just forward it to my email address, and then I can take it from there.
Ron,
I hear you.
Ron, can you turn off your microphone?
Okay, so he did turn it around and he was doing a lot better. I can tell you that he has been a lot better as far as, his attitude goes. He's done so much better. Now let's see. So you did give him 30 days to clean up, to get clean of the marijuana. However, on 2/26, he did come up positive for alcohol. And that he did say that, he admitted afterwards that he did consume alcohol. You did put him on the mobile, Smart Start mobile, because he was not on it originally. You put him on 6 blows a day within 5 days. He was also put on weekly UAs until he is clean. Then what else? You told him he had his 30 days or we could possibly terminate his track 1. Moving forward from there, he did a lot better. Here lately, you did allow him to travel to Florida for a music festival from July 23rd to July 26th. He was instructed to UA immediately upon return, no later than 8 a.m. the next business day, which would have been 7/27. And 7/28, I'm sorry, he returned from travel, but he did not complete his UA by 8 a.m. He went at 10. And he stated that that was because of his work. He wasn't able to get out. He wasn't able to get out on time to be able to do his UA by 8 a.m. That UA was diluted. Then 7:31, which was a Saturday, he did call the UA line at 11:21. However, the lab closes at 11:30 and on the weekend, and he was a no-show for that UA. He did not inform anyone that he missed the UA. He did not attempt to take a voluntary UA, as we've told them in the past. To show good faith effort, submit the following business day. We did not hear anything from him, nor did he show up. 8/2, he did submit a UA because he was tagged. It was diluted. 8/9, he was a no-show for his UA. That was Docket Monday. He called the UA line, I believe it must have been around 2, maybe after. I could be wrong on the time. But because we had Docket, that was his excuse as to why he didn't show up. On 8/10, I did get the UA results. However, he was supposed to go submit. According to him, he was going to go the next day, but he should have UA'd 8/10 in the morning. He did not show up until 3:53, which was almost closing time. Those results did come back normal. However, there was kind of a red flag on that, only because he took the UA on 8/10, but for some reason, the lab in Arizona did not get it until 7 days later. So something was kind of off about that. We can't hold it against him. That's not his fault. Not sure if it was the lab or if it was lost in transit for a while. I think that's pretty much where we're at. He has taken another UA since, but the results on that one is still pending.
State, do you have any questions?
Well, Your Honor, I believe Ms. Serna explained to the court the defendant's performance, so we pass the witness.
Judge Christian, can you have Ms. Cameron talk about the treatment side?
Yeah,
first?
we're on Ms. Serna as a witness right now. We're going to get to Ms. Cameron here shortly. Defense, do you have any questions for Ms. Serna?
No, Your Honor, I received her summary.
Okay. Let's go to Ms. Cameron. Ms. Cameron, would you please raise your right hand? Do you swear the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Ms. Cameron, would you please advise the court and the parties of the status of Mr. Pradia's progress in rehabilitation and or taking courses through the VA to address his drug alcohol issues?
Yes. So I did initially meet with Mr. Pradia on in December of 2020, on December 17th for his intake assessment. And we did discuss the expectations of him to complete treatment. It took him a little while to get started. In February the 22nd is when he got in contact to schedule an assessment with the substance abuse program with the VA. He did attend that evaluation on March the 2nd. And at that time, he was told that he would meet twice a week, each week to complete his treatment. We have had some no-shows here on June the 2nd, we had a no-show. And on August the 11th, we had a no-show. But we have had another appointment where he called and canceled it. And I spoke with him about that this past week and the importance of communication with me about his treatment appointments and maintaining those appointments, and that was the expectation of the court, is that he would attend as scheduled. And if there was something that came up, that he would communicate with me. And so that has been the issue on the treatment side, is having the direct communication with me about his appointments.
State, do you have any questions for Ms. Cameron?
Yes, Your Honor. So, Ms. Cameron, you mentioned that the defendant didn't show up on June 2nd and August the 11th. Did he mention to you why or the reason for his absence?
I do know that on August 11th, he said that he forgot about that appointment. June 2nd, I don't remember if there was a reason that was given for missing that appointment. I don't have anything in writing, an email where he told me.
Okay. That's what we have, Judge.
Judge Joanne, do you have any questions?
Yes, I do. Joe, I'm sorry, I didn't get a summary from you, so I'm gonna review what you just said to me, make sure I have it. So you had an appointment with him in December of 2020?
Yes.
And then he started treatment, or started, according to Valerie, he had a positive in 2/26 of 2021. So really program didn't get started till about 2/26?
I don't know what his date that he pled into the court. But as far as treatment is concerned, he March the 2nd is when he began treatment.
Okay. So it's March the 2nd. And so and from that time, from March 2nd to now, it's been 2 no-shows, the June and April, correct?
Yes, and a cancellation.
Oh yeah, no-show is cancellation. Now,
Yes.
Has he told you about his work schedule, how he works, how his strength, he's a stalker at Walmart?
Yes, we have talked about his work schedule and that he's usually available, I believe he said after 1:30 p.m. To which I advised him that there are multiple times and days that are available for treatment. For this purpose, the VA offers morning appointments as well as evening appointments for veterans that have alternate work schedules.
So if he has a switch in his schedule because he works, I guess, the nights 5 to the vampire shift, I guess, 5 to 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and he has to stay there later because someone didn't show up, he's to reach out to you and to let you know, hey, I can't make it because I have work commitment, correct?
Yes, to
All right.
communicate with that provider and to communicate with me as well.
And the reason for that is because it stops him from getting treatment. He may get kicked off the program if he misses too many, correct?
This is correct. And the other expectation is if he were to miss, that he would be proactive in rescheduling his next appointment to ensure that there is continuity of care and that there's no break in service.
And what was the necessity for his treatment? Was it alcohol or marijuana? I mean, marijuana.
The substance abuse with Bill Serena, they address both.
Okay.
And I did put in the referral that alcohol and marijuana use was to be addressed. So it's the same treatment, but to address both substances.
Okay. And at this point, is he still able to complete his treatment? Is he able to fulfill the terms? We've got 6 months.
He is able to continue.
All right. No further questions of this witness, Your Honor.
Anything further, state? Okay,
No,
thank
Your
you.
Honor.
Hang around, Ms. Cameron, if you would.
Okay.
Mr. Childers, as the project director of the Veterans Treatment Court, do you have any insight or do you have any personal discussions with Mr. Pradia, sort of motivational type discussions that we normally have with these guys when they're starting to trail smoke on us?
Yes, sir. Do you want to swear me in, sir?
Sure. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
I do, sir.
Go ahead.
So I want to ensure the court is aware that Mr. Pradia came into the VTC on a UCW charge, not on a substance use charge. There are reasons behind that, but so initially his treatment was not necessarily going to be just focused on substance use. So he came in February. His first violation was, I believe, February 22nd. That is what initiated him going to Via Serena to start. So while there was some delay, it was not on his part. It was because he was coming into the program new and we were looking at mental health options versus just substance use at that time. And so I want to ensure that the court is aware that I do not believe that he is at fault for it being delayed until March. Mr. Pradia came in, he had a chip on his shoulder. And after his first violation with substances, he and I had a very good discussion. He put all of his frustration to the side. He stated that in his normal life, he does put things off. However, he was gonna show the initiative that the court needed for him to get through this program. And from March until I received the violation report the other day, my assumption was that was exactly what he was doing. He and I did speak on Sunday for a few minutes. I asked him to gather his thoughts for today to ensure that the court understood his side of everything. I do believe that there may be a way for him to get through this program. And I do have some notes on how that could be if I am asked. But I believe that whatever happened while you were in Florida on your leave, you tried to hide it. Just based on what we see when it comes to the multiple dilutes and missing UAs. And so that is the only concern I have at this moment. He and I have talked about his treatment. He's going to ensure that if he is allowed to move forward, that it becomes the priority for him. Mr. Pradia I believe, just graduated. Is that correct? Shake your head if it is. Just graduated with a Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice. Am I wrong in that, or did it change?
It's correct. That's correct.
So it would behoove him to have a track 1 if he wants to use that degree. And I believe he does have the motivation to keep going.
Okay, Josh, or anybody else from the VTC staff that we need to hear from?
Your Honor, he did ask if he's asked, if there's a way out of this program. Can I ask him now those questions?
Sure.
Okay. Josh, do you want my client to speak first? He wrote a letter to all of us he would like to read to you.
Any way you want to run it. You're the attorney.
Then I'll call my client.
Okay. What I need to know from Mr. Prady, what'd you do in the military, sir? I haven't looked at your DD-214 lately.
I was a petroleum supply specialist.
And did you go to, I'm sorry, go ahead, sir.
I didn't deploy anywhere. I was stationed at Fort Bliss.
Okay, that's what I need to know on the military side. Judge Joanne, what do you want to do at this point?
He had wanted, okay, I can ask him questions. Mr. Pradio, we had a discussion about your motivation or you're willing to stay in the program, and you decided to collect your thoughts, and if it's permissible by all parties, you would like to read a letter you sent to me to us. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that all right with the court? Any objections from the state?
Sure.
No objections, Your Honor.
Go ahead, Mr. Prady.
To the Honorable Judge Christian, I stand before you today sorry and disappointed, sorry for letting down all of those who work hard each and every day to support those of us in the VTC. Also, all of the family and friends who have supported me throughout this process. Disappointed in myself for taking for granted the opportunity given to me to make something better of myself and not letting a mistake in my life define who I am as a person of the American society. As an individual, I take complete responsibility for everything that has led me to this position I am at now. I know I am no better than any individual to the left or right of me in the program. And I know with my selfish acts, I have jeopardized all of those in the VTC, future participants in the VTC, and the VTC program as a whole. I come to realize I need this program more than it needs me, and I am not one who requires any privilege that's not given to the person next to me. I know I've put not only myself, but everyone involved in a compromising position. With that being said, Judge, if you are willing to grant me a second chance to remain in the program, I will accept the terms/sanctions given to me to assure you that I am 100% all in and can promise that my name won't come across your desk again until I'm given my completion speech.
Okay, I got a couple of questions based on that. Mr. Prady, you've got now a degree in criminal justice, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, your current position is kind of bottom of the totem pole. What position do you eventually want to achieve in the criminal justice system?
I actually have some like credit left or money left on the BAH. I mean, not the BAH, the
GI Bill, yeah.
The GI Bill. I wanted to continue my education to try to go to law school, actually.
To do what now? I'm sorry?
To attend law school.
Law school?
Yes, sir.
Oh, boy. Judge Joanne didn't try to talk you out of that immediately?
We
She's
hadn't
an
had
attorney.
that.
She's supposed to tell you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I did. I was very frank with him. He can tell you.
All right. Here's the deal. Mr. Pradia, more than being mad at you, basically you let us down. That's kind of where we're all have our hat hanging right now. You know, I didn't have to let you go to Florida. I know what people go to Florida for, you know, to hang out with their friends and drink and do all that kind of stuff. And you came out and you hid the ball and you weren't truthful with us. My guess is you were smoking dope. I don't know what you were doing, but whatever it was, you were hiding it from us. So bottom line is, in the past, we've got marijuana hits, alcohol hits, multiple failure to call the UA line. Only 2 or 3 apparently misses on treatment. So that's a huge good thing in your favor. So you've been doing okay on treatment according to Ms. Campbell. So that's a good thing. I mean, you got this. I don't know, who was your first attorney on this? Was it Judge Joanne or was it somebody else? Did anybody explain to you what the incredible gift you've been given by being allowed to be on track 1 pretrial diversion in the Veterans Treatment Court?
Yes, Your Honor.
I mean, did you understand that at all? And I don't know that we've ever had another UCW guy. We've had lots of DWIs with handguns in the car, but very few just strictly UCW guys. So that's kind of unusual. So somebody must have liked you somewhere in there. All right, well, get back and I'm still trying to figure out, what do you want to do in life? Where do you want to be 5 years from now? If not the Texas Department of Corrections, which would be, bad. Where else would you rather be? You want to be a lawyer? You want to be in law school in 5 years? Is that what you want to do?
Well, by then I want to be completed with it. Have a family by then.
All right. What was your grade point average undergraduate?
A 3.0.
I resemble that.
Very good.
Josh, you're our project director. I'd like you to ask any questions you might have of Mr. Pradia, because if we keep him in the VTC, which I'm teetering on right now, he's obviously going to land in your lap again.
Yes, sir. Sir, if I may, if Mr. Pradia was allowed to stay in the program, some of the ways that I believe that we can ensure his success are the following. That he not be allowed to have any leisure passes outside the county until he completes his program in February of 2022. That he stays on the Smart Start Mobile for the entire term. That he stays on weekly UAs until he completes the program. That he has no more failures to appear at treatment, and that he continues to come to dockets even if he goes to phase 4 in the program until he completes it. I believe if we institute those things, I think he'll have enough accountability to make it through the program. If he indeed is genuine in his comments today.
Your Honor, I discussed some of these options with my client, and
Sure.
he had told me that he was willing to take any sanctions from you. He had also indicated that he understood he was a little behind on his payments, and as a good faith, he was going to pay yesterday, but I stopped him. So he wanted to show the court. It was me that stopped him until we had a hearing today. So he was willing to, I think he's $200 behind or something. So he wanted to show the court that he's invested in the program and wants to support it.
Val, you're Mr. Pradia's probation officer. You willing to take him back?
I am, so long as he stays on track. I would rather see him on a basically on a short leash. If he fails to do something, that just falls back on him.
And as we well know, Your Honor, being in law school and being a lawyer and taking for the bar, he's going to get punished a lot that way anyway.
I can't punish him any worse than send him to law school. That's a good point. All right. This is my plan. I've never done this before. The textbook solution, Mr. Pradia, is to go ahead and just revoke your track 1 pretrial diversion, find you guilty of the offense of lawfully carrying a weapon, which I assure you is going to put a big speed bump in the road in any position you're seeking within the criminal justice system, except criminal, the one that you occupy right now. So that being said, Judge Joanne and State, here's what I anticipate us do. I'm not going to rule on this right now. I'm going to hold it in abeyance and put Mr. Pradia back in track 1 BTC with the understanding that I can revoke it tomorrow if I feel like it. And let's see how he does. Josh, you think that's an equitable solution to our situation, Mr. Pradia?
Yes, sir. He will show us if he is genuine in his comments today.
So the state doesn't have to file this again. It's already filed. I'm just going to hold it in abeyance and see how Mr. Pradia's conduct is from this point forward. Judge Joanne, is that equitable to the defense?
I believe so, Your Honor. He said he would take any sanction. And since
Pradia, what do you think? Can you make it?
That's fair with me, Judge.
It's now August, September, October, November, December, January, 6 months.
6 months.
You got to be good for 6 months. Have you ever been good for 6 months in your entire life?
Throughout my whole service in the
Here's
Army.
your big chance. All right. State, what's your input? You think that's a fair resolution at this time?
Yes, Your Honor, I guess we can give Mr. Pradia one more chance, and now it's up to him.
All right. I'm going to terminate these proceedings in the nicest possible way. I'm not going to rule. Mr. Pradia, you're back where you started on track 1 pretrial diversion with the VTC. The ball's in your court. My suggestion would be don't miss any UA calls. Don't drink any alcohol. Don't smoke any dope with your buddies, and be squeaky, squeaky clean, because in the overall spectrum of the world, especially, you got a degree in criminal justice and you have a conviction for unlawfully carrying a weapon, you're not going to get a job doing anything that I can anticipate. I'd love to be wrong, but I don't think I am. And I think you understand that. However, if you successfully complete this course and everybody here is giving you one more chance to do that, this case will be dismissed. And then you can talk to Judge Joanne about expunging it, and it won't be on your record at all. And basically, it just doesn't get any better than that. And you provided that opportunity for yourself by virtue of your military service. So we thank you for your service. I'm not happy with your past, but I'm giving you a chance to show me a future, which is going to make up for it. Just like in the military, you get a chance to soldier your way out. Fair enough?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Anybody else got any input? State?
No, Your Honor.
Judge, will we be implementing any sanctions as far as weekly UAs or Smart Start mobile travel permit?
How many blows a day is he on Smart Start right now?
He's not on it, Judge.
Okay, put him back on Smart Start within 5 days at 4 blows a day. I could be mean and put him on 6, but I'm starting to trust him a little bit. I don't think he's going to blow this. We'll see how that works. Put him on weekly UAs. He's never going to know when he gets called in, but he's going to be doing 1 UA a week. We'll see where that goes. If I get 4 clean weekly UAs, the possibility exists. No promises expressed or implied. We might put him back on monthly, but he'll still be on the UA call line all the way through this. What level is he at? 1, 2, 3, 4? What's his promotion status currently?
What's his phase, you mean?
Yeah, phase. Thank you.
Oh, I think he's in 3.
Are you in 3, Mr. Pradia?
I think I'm up for 3 next month.
All right. I don't think you're going to make it. Leave him in phase 2 until we get that warm, fuzzy feeling he's going to go it all the way, which is probably going to be in 30 days. You can make that decision what you want to do with him on the phase promotion. That's up to Valerie and nobody else. So you got to keep her happy, Mr. Pradia. Not me. You got to keep happy all the time. All right, Joe, is there anything he can do for you?
Just to continue with treatment, not miss any treatment appointments. And, you know, if anything comes up with work or anything else, that communication piece is everything for treatment.
All right. Josh, anything else he needs to do for you?
Be honest, Mr. Pradia, when things happen, and make sure you're communicating.
Mr. Pradia, you got any questions for us? Because you're one of the very few people we have ever not kicked out of the VTC under your circumstances. So you can thank your lawyer and you can thank your military service. And the good things you've done well. You started off poorly and you bounced back for a while and then you sort of faded away again. So this is your big chance to make a big rebound and come back and finish strong. Fair enough?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Got any questions for us, sir?
No questions.
If you ever have a question, you can call Josh, you can call Val, you can call me directly, whatever you need to do. But I would get Judge Joanne in that loop somewhere before you start talking to us.
Okay.
Did I ever tell you the story about when Judge Joanne volunteered to become the Bexar County Veteran Treatment Court Defense Counsel? And I asked her my standard question, do you have any military experience? And she said, I dated a Marine for 8 years.
Right. Hardest work there was.
All right, Ms. Pradia, you're dismissed. Thank you, Judge Joanne.
Am I staying
We're
around
gonna-
for Blackwell or what's
Yep,
going on?
we're gonna do Blackwell next.
She's here. Ms.
All right.
Blackwell's on.
Anybody need to talk to Mr. Pradia before we cut him loose today? All right, I have not ruled on your case, Mr. Pradia. You better be good.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, sir, you're cut loose. Thank you.
Okay.
Let's take a 5-minute break and I'll be right back and we'll take up Ms. Blackwell's situation. Ashley, do you need something or are you just watching what's going on?
Your Honor, I believe she wanted to talk to you about something, Your Honor.
Okay, well, hang on. I'll be back in a minute.